Hi, I'm sitting here in my home in the Sacred Valley, and I just came back from a little run. Sometimes I do in the morning, like in the later morning, a little run just to liberate some energies. For me, this is really effectful. Um, I have a little yoga practice, the same yoga practice I do since 10 years, I think. I have some small meditation practices, but running in the morning, it's liberating me and cleaning my energy and resetting me. And often I wake up in the morning and I have like a heaviness, like a stickiness. This morning I also had a dream which was very real and very real and very real. And it was really reflecting different emotions and things I'm processing and going through right now. So in these mornings, the running for me is key. And I think it's around 20 minutes. I run through the fields. I see the Apus, I see the Pitusarai to the next village, and I just run back the same way. And yeah, that's for me the biggest shift and moving energy practice. Um, and I wonder, what are you doing when you feel heavy, sticky energy, when you're not feeling well? What are you doing? What are the things which you do to liberate and move and change energies? And even if you sometimes have before this, I don't want to do it, because when we don't feel good, sometimes we have this, I don't want to do anything. But then actually, it's so much even more important, right? Um, and I feel like for integration also, this is so important. And I don't talk about integration just after doing plant medicine. I think it's all the time when we learn something new, when we have new insights, when we realize and notice a trauma is coming up, past stuff is coming up, how to transform, how to shift it, to let it go, and to integrate and to be who we really want to be. Like the more awareness comes, the more conscious we get about our patterns, our beliefs, our traumas, our limitations, our conditioning, our coping, our reactions, our how do we numb us, how when are we very reactive, when are we absent, like when do we freeze, flight, fight, like when we get aware about all these different mechanisms, I think we are always in a process of integration and integrating and noticing and getting aware and shifting and changing and taking a breath or taking time and space, what is for me always the main thing. And it's so simple and not. Take time and space for yourself. Sit still, be, feel, look inwards, inquire. And if we are in these self-development, self-healing processes, there's always things to integrate. And I feel like if we are in a flow, if we are flowing with life, and sometimes we flow with certain areas and certain areas not. But if I flow in a certain area, I feel like I'm, my past, my traumas, whatever I experienced, my spiritual awareness, my alignment, my soul purpose, why am I here? It's integrated. That's why energy is flowing, and that's why I'm in synchronicity, and that's why things flow easily or naturally. I don't have to push and pull. It's just flowing. The energy wants to go there, wants to go there. And if things are not flowing, or if things feel heavy or not really coming out or not connecting, I think that's always an invitation to look, are there certain parts which are not integrated? Is there like a trauma, like something from the past? And when I talk about trauma, I talk about also all the little T traumas, yeah? I don't talk about huge and big traumas, which also to some of us happen, but the little traumas which are happening to all of us. But of course, also the big ones. But for me, it's always, if something is not flowing, when I look at it, is there something from the past what is blocking me? Gives me still some limitations, some conditioning? So the energy can't fully flow because I'm not fully present, I'm not flowing, and I'm not intimate and with presence because there are things from the past, can be mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Often the body talks with us and we show and shows us and helps us to understand more like a deeper root cause, what is blocking. So I feel that's always interesting to look at. If something is not flowing, is there anything I more need to look at? I need to integrate, need to dive in. And while I'm saying all that, compassion, playfulness, love is key. And I often imagine, like I worked before in the pedagogical field, educational field. And my intention was always, because I had a very hard time in school. It was very hard for me. I hated school. I loved the people and I also was interested in certain topics. But to sit there and to listen, I couldn't. It's also like my concentration and my focus, difficult in the school system where I went. So when I start to study pedagogic and educational stuff, for me, like a very big thing was, how can I create a playful, easy space where the kids can move, can play and learn while they move and play and having fun? Because as we know, our brain is way more open if it's playful and nice and free. If there's tension and rigidity and judgment, most of us go more in that mood, and then we can't create new pathways. And that's the same if we are our own teacher, if it's about self-mastery. How do I guide myself through my healing and learning process? How do I guide myself in daily life? I mean, do I want to learn? Do I want to be open? Do I want to be receptive? Most of the times I think we want. Then it's also nice to be loving, compassionate, and playful with self. So our brain is more flexible and can move and can connect. And and creating this time and space to reflect on self. We need to create space for healing. So if a client, a participant comes to my retreat, or a client comes to a one-to-one session, what are we doing? We create space. And sometimes there's also space where it's not much talking. There's a question and then there's a feeling in, there's inquiry. And we need to create space in order that we can get aware about energies, in order that energies can move. And in order to see more clearly, because we are so complex. And maybe some of you can, when a lot of things are happening all the time, they can still be aware and observe and feeling and being with all the different parts and angles. Yes, that's great. And I feel like creating a space with stillness and just for self is very important. And if it's just 10 minutes in the morning. Yeah. Okay. So this was a little mix of different things. And I wish you a beautiful journey, a beautiful flow and playfulness and compassion in your integration processes in daily life. And much love from the Sacred Valley.